Hi, my name is Eric Yates, and I've had an operation called deep brain stimulation. That's why you see a scar across my head. Now, to inform you what happened, there were two electrodes placed inside my brain after having the ear to ear operation done. These were placed inside the frontal lobe of the brain, and then 34 staples went closed me up. They also had leads that were not inserted yet that had to come back in 12 days later. They had to go take out the 34 staples, then reopen me on my right hand side so that they could have the wire come right over here. And guess what? They had to put me back under. As they did this, they fed with a stitch that was back here. They brought it down to where on the right hand side, behind the ear, they were able over at the hospital to do this and have it connect all the way down to where my pacemaker like device, you can actually see the shape of it, the shape of an AirPods, pretty much the size of an AirPods, would go and have the batteries inside. Now, even though on the device it reads that it will change out in 11 years, they have to be manually changed out. That means next time I need to have my batteries changed out about 6 or 7 years. But to inform you what's going on, the signals inside my brain receive a message for a minute straight. Probably as long as you started watching the beginning of this, we're wondering why is he back on YouTube? Guess what? A minute straight, I receive a signal solid. Okay, electricity going through the brain. Then it takes 5 minutes off. If you think about it, it's kind of like revving your engine for a minute straight and then letting it idle for 5 minutes. Then another revving the engine for 5 minutes, sorry, for 1 minute straight. That's what my brain continuously does. Whether my heart is beating or not, whether my brain is just sitting there as a null and void, guess what? In less than 4 minutes, my brain is going to be there, solid for 1 minute. I could be literally lifeless on the side of the road, and my brain will still work. So here's what I'm trying to say. I have batteries in my body, legitimate batteries, that have to be changed out, and they cannot be recharged. These are not the kind where it's like, oh, because he's bald, he can get rechargeable batteries that are done by the actual melatonin in his skin, or sorry, the vitamin D in his skin. No, it's not that way. I have to have this done so that it goes behind the ear, down the side of the neck, and into the chest. Due to the fact that I do not want to have this removed from Facebook, YouTube, all that other, and I know y'all really don't feel like looking at a guy's boob. You know, I've actually shown you that there's nothing there except for, you know, you can probably see the dent or indentation that it leaves. So what happens is I go and I look, and my deep brain stimulation is there. Now I have two devices that are over here to my side. I have one, which is actually it's an Android. Shout out to Android Life, and it will tell you if I go to look at it. I'll do this right here with you. It even says DBS therapy application. For those of you who have never ever looked at what this is, DBS therapy application, just so you know, it's not like I just made up some really cool app. I have to go and connect with it. Now, there's an item that it connects with, and that's called the transmitter. Well, they sit back and they chill with each other all the time. Because right now, I'm going to show you. It's connecting. There's the, item. And they're flashing back and forth to each other. So this right here is telling you that the communicator is on. Granted, I know what's going on. I can actually feel how it's communicating with it and it's saying, okay, the blue means that it's using Bluetooth, and the green just means that it's powered on. So it says that when I click on my battery, check this out. The battery says for more than 11 years. The communicator battery is actually what they have right there, and that's at 90%. And the handset battery, like if I ever go on a travel, guess what? That right now is at 100% because it's also plugged in. So I take that, and anytime I want to go and use that, remember that right there, I don't have to have with me. Like if I go up to the next town, or if I want to go and I have a day at the beach. Remember, I can go swimming. I can go not scuba diving, but I can go inside of a pool. I can go inside of a jacuzzi. I just have to make sure that I have that with me if I go on vacation. So everything seems to be great. Check this out. I can actually change it if I want, but I have to let them know when I change it and what I changed it to, even though at the hospital they know. So if you've ever had DBS or deep brain stimulation, they can use it for multiple things. Epilepsy, like I mentioned, Parkinson's, essential tremors. They use it for OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. They use it for Tourette's. Now, granted, some people think Tourette's is all about having a tic and then using that with foul language. And I'm not mocking anyone with Tourette's, but I do know people with Tourette's, and yeah, it's not always, and I'm just going to say flower instead of the F word, you know, they're not like flower, no, I mean, it actually is a real disorder that it's made fun of way too much. And so they'll actually have their own things. Like one of my friends says, "You're done," and it's something that's her tic. That's what they properly call her disorder, Tourette's. And her tic is when she'll be there like, "You're done," and as loud as she gets, her family has accepted her. As loud as I got with my seizures, like mom. When I started having one, she knew it's not, watch out, guys, I gotta do this. She'll be like, I'm coming. Because she knew priority is what matters. And you don't take a soda, shake it up and, just like throw the contents of the can all over the room. Why? It's more and more hassle. So here's what gets me: DBS, deep brain stimulation. The only time that the electrodes or leads ever come up behind the left ear is when it's the vagus nerve syndrome, or basically vagus nerve stimulation. VNS is on the left hand side. The right hand side is deep brain stimulation when it goes and it hits you. It's below your clavicle, your collarbone, and it's up above the pectoral and on top of the pectoral at that. So when they do in fact have it in, it sits there in kind of like its own little pocket. They have to cut out a little bit of meat, but to put the actual device in there. Now, here's something some people didn't know: when you do in fact pass away, the company does not get it back. The company knows that you have bought it lock, stock, and barrel. So don't think that if you are someone who is a do not resuscitate or any cremation, is my request. Guess what? They don't say, hold up, this guy cannot be, sent to the incinerator. We have to contact the hospital. We have to give this back to the hospital. No. They would go, they would put me in through there, and everything that's not metal gets, I guess you could say, gets incinerated. Everything that is metal falls into the debris pile. And there is actually a debris pile. So all this is, hey, guess what? We are going to go and do the best thing for him as possible. I mean, I will have already passed away at that point. So they would make it to where my family could say, okay, we would like the part of the DBS. They would have the prongs. They would have, any and all the wiring if they wanted it, so that they could say these were the items that were inside of Eric. Guess what? I've got nuts, bolts, screws, items inside my body that I never thought I would get rid of. But guess what? When you are someone who has an not incarceration, but an incineration, waiting for you, literally, you need to know what you're going to face. Now, like I was saying about DBS, people use this for all kinds of things. This has been used as early as, I believe if I recall correctly, it was cleared in 2012 over in Europe and cleared in 2015 over in the US. Now, I know that was just for the United States to have surgery for the epilepsy, but I'm not sure how far back it goes to having things for Parkinson's, essential tremors, stuff like that. It goes rather well, and if you ever want a chance to take a good look, why don't you Google deep brain stimulation and the Mayo Clinic site, Mayo Clinic Foundation? They actually have a lot of information on it. I have gone and looked at it before. I've looked at it, and I saw some items where you'll see something that holds the head at an angle like this. And I asked my neurosurgeon, and these are fair questions to ask. Is my head going to be tilted in a device like that? And they said for mine, no, because I had to have mine done in an MRI machine. So, a few things that helped me when I saw that, he said, but I will let you know, you'll never be able to go through an x-ray machine again, because the x-ray machine can actually turn off the deep brain stimulator. And when I say deep brain stimulator, I mean technically this is the device, but this is the power pack. So it can technically turn off the batteries. And they say, well, because of something that's in my wallet, it's an actual card. Okay, it tells people I reserve the right to be patted down because I, in fact, have what they call from Medtronic, a deep brain stimulation device. It's something that is a life-changing and I guess you could say a life assistant type device. Not only did it change my life, it's helping me live my life to the fullest. So if anybody ever has, I guess you could say, an inquiry about it, feel free to contact Medtronic, find out about it. Remember, Medtronic is the company that I used, for receiving my, well, I guess you can say they did not just my phone, but they also worked with, let me show you here. I'm sorry if the lighting is bad. I mean, this is a Samsung phone. You can see that. Okay. But this right here is going to be a little more complicated. See, these are, let me just cover up the item on the bottom, which has my personal cue card. I have an FCC ID on there. I mean, everything here is certified European. And yeah, anytime you see CE, it just means that it can be used in Europe and it can be used in America. Like I said, green means that it's powered on. Blue just means that it's using Bluetooth. If I went back to this, I'll go over here and show you exactly what the other sides are. I'll do it like this. Okay, the communicator battery. They're saying it's at 90%. The handset battery, which as you see, this is, well, we're at 100%. This, it's at, the full thing. Now, if I go home, guess what? It tells me that my therapy is on. If I go to my therapy, right now, I'm not sure if these are in milliamps, which I think they are. They're either in milliamps or in joules, but I think that they're milliamps. I can always lower, okay, and guess what? I'll be able to tell you that it goes down. But once it goes higher than that, I'm at the maximum. It says upper limit reached. I'm not sure if y'all are having a hard time seeing that or not. It's probably because of what's there. See, they program it and it has to be in the same room as you. So I just simply sit there, and if anyone's ever worked in Android before, there are going to be 3 dots over here. I click that. I click it one more time. Well, over here will be 3 lines that you see right there. And I can actually close that up. And that's what it looks like for the people who've got this. Now, some people think, oh, okay, well, the DBS. What's so awesome about the DBS? The DBS is something that can change lives so amazing. It can make all these lives change for the better, and it can make all these lives change for what little effort you have to put into it. You do have to be willing to take the risk, and in all factors that go with surgery, you have to be willing to take this, what I call the ear-to-ear cut, going in a second time as well, for over here to over there, because I had 34 from here to here. And then, because you can see on the upper part, this is just, a month old. You see that there's no joking you around. I'm not some paid advertising spokesman. No, I'm actually a real guy, a real patient. But, see, I don't say where I had it done. Hence, that would break my HIPAA violation, or that would cause a HIPAA violation. But I can say to the hospital that did it, thank you so much. To the surgeon that did it, thank you so much. But that's the thing, to have all this, it makes me so happy that I've got all this right there. It's a DBS. Now, some people, have asked me, why don't you just have that on your iPhone? Believe it or not, it's such a secure app that they don't offer it on the iPhone. And you have to have it and this, because they have to pair with each other. They actually give you the phone. Now, granted, I could probably put things like Facebook or YouTube on there, but I'm not going to. I mean, after all, I have messages that I receive from them. I have all kinds of different notes from the doctors that I use. I'm like, hey, I don't want to have to be responsible for having this up to date, that up to date, this up to date, that up to date. Hey, it updates on its own, and I'm like, that's all I needed to do. That and keep my brain normal. But hence, what is normal? What is really normal nowadays? For a person who does not know, am I a candidate? Number one, ask your physician. Ask your physician. If you've got where your hands shakes a little bit, okay? Number one, it does have to do with the medications you take. Number two, it has to do with your age. Number three, it depends on if it's after a car accident or any type of accident you may or may not have been a part of. Because if you're 75 years old and you were in the war, not making fun of anyone that has ever been in a war, you could potentially have shakes. But you know what? You could also be someone, if you were deemed strong enough physically and mentally, you could actually potentially, and I'm going to say potentially, have the deep brain stimulation to get rid of your tremors. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take away all the bad memories, but remember, it could possibly take away the shakiness. Now, remember, I don't make fun of those who have shakes, because guess what? I used to have seizures really bad, and I would wake up and be like, oh, and I'm trying to, reach for the next person, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, Eric, calm down, it's just me, and I'd be reaching for my friend, and I'd be like, come here, just come here, and it looked like I was really trying to fight them, but I was just trying to grab one hand out to, reach for them, but my stability was not the best. I did not have this for essential tremor. I actually had this for epilepsy. And so far, because it's been, goodness, we're now on the 20th. I had it turned on 17 days ago. I've only had 3 focal seizures. I say focal, you probably say petit mal. They had to start saying focal for different reasons. Number one, they focalize in one body part, or they focalize in one quadrant of the brain. So therefore, I had 3 focal seizures. I did not lose consciousness. Otherwise, they would say grand mal. So, yeah, I didn't lose consciousness, but I knew that it was bad enough to where I had to take medicine. Ooh, pardon me. And the thing is, even though I looked and I saw that it was one of the most horrific things, I had to stay after the part 1 because it's a 2-part surgery. Like I said, the first one, you're cut from here to here, and the second one, you just go back about 12 to 14 days later, and they'll help you and just take it, drill the hole so that you can have the hole, to where it comes out and they can feed through your chest. Because it's kind of like, if any of you are familiar with yarn, use a crochet hook to figuratively feed the wires. And you do that, you connect the leads, you're set. Here's the best thing about it. All I have to do, and I know some people say, it's surgery. Every 7 years, I'm scheduled to have that surgery. Every 5 to 7 years. But that's because this, I don't ever turn off. This, right here, I don't ever turn off. I have to keep it charged via USB. And this phone, I always keep plugged in. It's a Samsung. But the best thing about this, if I do it the proper way, I take off just this and show you that I have that, which is the one that takes what I just used. And I mean, even with what was the majority one hand, I can actually turn this, and you know what it looks like when it's, charging, because hence I was told 90% battery power. And this, I can actually look on here, open my DBS, connect, and it wants to double check with me right now. And it says to ensure that the battery power is on. And I know that some of y'all are like, what's going on? I'm actually showing that it's communicating with the device. And remember, it was at 90 earlier. Okay, there's connection. And if I go to my battery, okay, now it's at 85, but it's charging. And in just a few moments, it'll come back. Yeah, you see my AirPods over there. But that's the best thing about this, because I could show you this in just a few moments when it goes up. That will continue to go up. People have asked me, do I believe that it's for the better? I do. I'm skeptical, and I'm a skepticist and a pessimist, along with an optimist at the same time. I believe that it'll work if you work it, but I also believe that if you have it and you don't apply it, it's good for nothing. So therefore, do I think that this could ever work for me? Most definitely. Do I believe that this could actually help me? Because they actually use this at times, I found out, for regrowing hair. Yeah, but then I would still have to shave it again in 7 years to change out the battery pack. Because remember, they may need to go and reattach a lead. So, long story short, Do I feel like deep brain stimulation is a good thing for people with epilepsy? Yes, I do. Do I give it what I call a 100% thumbs up? Yes. You have to be strong willed, though. You have to be able and willing to say, I might as well go and shave all my hair off. And for the guys, hey, it's easier. For the ladies, I'm going to say it takes a lot of determination. And remember, you can always wear a wig, or you can always continue to keep it shaved. But I will let you know, you will have the leads that go under the skin. Okay? So anything that goes under the skin, it's going to be hard to style the hair there. And I mean, some people say, well, how do I know that's not just, like a cosmetic thing that you did? Seriously, I wouldn't go on YouTube and say that it's something that I did, that it's, a major surgery. That's kind of like saying, well, I'm about to get my sergeant promotion in the Army. And guess what? I'm not in the Army, because it's like stealing valor. To me, surviving brain surgery 2 times, yeah, it's something that I am proud to say I did. And to be able to help y'all with this, I know with it being over 27 minutes, by the time that I say goodbye, yeah, I think that it's something that can really help y'all. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask below, and I will enable, question asking. And I'm here to help anybody get their questions asked to me. Remember, deep brain stimulation, short, is DBS, as in Delta Bravo Samuel. And you can always look at the mayoclinic.org, and you can see that they've done a lot of research on there, a lot of information. I went and I looked on my own, and I told the doctor, I said, okay, I know what to figure out for. Remember, I will say, the day that I had my surgery, I went in weighing 260 pounds. That night, when I was there, I stepped on a scale, legitimate scale, and I had lost 12 and a half pounds because, you don't have the desire to eat right away. So you have to be willing to say, okay, I'll drink some juices, or I'll drink a coffee black, blah, 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 blah. The general gist of what comes with surgery. But remember, it's always best. And with this, the best thing about my deep brain stimulation, they're going to hopefully get me off all of my medications that have to do with seizures. So they're going to get me off all my anticonvulsants one day. And that alone is going to be worth having every single seizure that I ever have taken away, ear to ear. 2 times. One was ear to ear, one was, middle to ear, so they could put the leads in. I'm telling you, I appreciate what my doctor and the hospital have done for me, and I cannot say it enough. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank y'all. God bless. Have a nice day.